everybody, and welcome back to the Pokemon Elite Championship Series. We have just watched some incredible matches, and guess what, Jeremy? The match that I'm sure everybody was expecting, or hoping for at least, is finally coming. The two brothers, Kyle and Ryan Sabelhaus, are about to duke it out in the semifinals of the very first tournament.
It's going to be great. They're definitely playing in the same room, so it's a little bit of hardship there, but I'm excited to see this match.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody's usually in their own home. They're all playing from their own home on PTCGO. However, they both happen to live in the same home. So, lo and behold, they're both going to be in the same room, and we're going to be seeing Kyle's perspective, I believe, coming into this tournament, coming into this round. So, I'm really excited to watch these players play. But I actually want to take a look at their decks first and see exactly what the matchup we're going to be featuring right now.
Yeah. So with Ryan, he has essential Primal Kyogre list. Like, it's very standard. There's not really much going on that's very different than what you would build a stock list with.
Except for the fact that it's Primal Kyogre. I mean, this is not a deck that you really see all that often. Primal Kyogre is, I mean, honestly, it's a deck that may not have performed very well at U.S. Nationals. I mean, it did fine, but it didn't really showcase its true potential. And Ryan decided to bring it here to the Elite Championship Series' first tournament and see where he can go with it.
Well, I was actually debating Primal Kyogre going into Nationals. It was kind of like a sleeper pick. It beats Metal. It has good matchup against Toad. It beats a lot of the random decks that are out there, but it definitely has trouble versus like a Leafeon-based deck and Brizzy and Genesect, which isn't really known anymore, but it's still just fragile. Like, that's really what it is.
That's right. So Primal Kyogre, you said it beats a lot of decks. You also mentioned that it beats Seismitoad. Go figure, that's what we're going to be seeing right here out of Kyle, as he's going to be piloting Seismitoad with Manectric EX.
Yeah, this deck is actually the list that Christy Britton top 8 at Nationals with, which also, in retrospect, is built by Russell LaParre, who's in the tournament that we're featuring.
Yeah, actually, Russell was defeated by Kyle, if I remember correctly. Or, I'm sorry,
No,
Ryan.
Russell was defeated by Ryan.
Yeah, Russell was defeated by Ryan in the top 8, a match that we've already, seen a little while ago. However, now we're seeing not Jeremy. We're not seeing Jeremy. We're actually seeing Kyle. We're seeing Kyle piloting this deck, but it features Manectric EX as well. Why would Manectric EX be paired with Seismitoad EX here?
So Seismitoad's biggest weakness is always its damage output. Like, it's an amazing at locking trainers, but you need to feature it with like lasers, muscle band, just to get any knockouts quick.
Correct.
Lasers help build up the damage.
Yeah, so basically it shores up Seismitoad's big weakness, which is just not any type of damage output. 120 damage for a couple of energies is pretty good.
Especially when you play Headringer, because you play Headringer to like lock them more with Seismitoad. So if you Headringer their big EX, you can Manectric 120 it.
Yeah, it seems like it's a natural combination, and I really do like this list. I'm glad to see that that Christy Britton's list, that obviously made top 8, like you mentioned earlier, is being featured in this tournament, because honestly, it seems like it's such a well-made deck, and I'm excited to see if it can beat it's Predator almost in Kyogre here. So I am excited to see that matchup. And okay, so we already seen the bracket, by the way?
We have not, but one thing I want to mention is the Rock Guard in this list.
Okay,
is very unique to its list. Many people write off Rock Guard as actually being ace spec, and like computer search 100% always.
Yeah, that or Dowsing Machine. I mean, you're just looking at these ace specs that actually do something every game.
But when you actually get to Quaking Punch with a Rock Guard on your Seismitoad, it is a world of hurt for your opponent, because they can't get rid of it with like starting Megaphone. They're only out as like 0 sick. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if they want to kill that Toad and break the trainer lock, they're going to take 60 every attack.
That's true. It's a card that I didn't really expect to see coming into the Elite Championship Series. So I'm excited to see if it actually does do work against Kyogre. I'm not sure if it will, because Kyogre just deals so much damage.
Rough Seas is a very important card in this matchup too. Rough Seas is basically the reason Kyogre beats Seismitoad.
Exactly. You just don't deal damage.
Yeah. All right, so here's the bracket. We saw Ryan beat Russell in a Kyogre versus Flygon matchup, which is kind of like 100%, 0% Kyogre's favor.
The most uneventful matchup in history.
Yes. And then we saw Kyle take down Israel Sosa. And the funny part is Kyle and Israel were playing at like 4 a.m. the night before, testing out their decks, and they played against each other on PTCGO, so they knew what each other was playing coming in. And Kyle has the slight advantage because he has Toad and Manectric, while Israel had Yveltal Manectric.
Yeah, exactly. Yveltal just does not fare well against Manectric, and we saw how that obviously was, I mean, more or less kind of just like a dominant matchup for Kyle, and Kyle did dominate it. However, on the top side of the bracket, we saw Brandon Cantu defeat Brit Pybas, and Dylan Bryan defeat Squeaky Marking. A perennial fan favorite there.
Yeah, Squeaky disconnected twice to give Dylan the win. It was pretty unfortunate. And Brandon ended up beating Brit since he was playing Flareon, like Raichu Crobat, and it was against the Metal list. So anytime you're playing Flareon against Metal, you kind of expect to win.
Yeah, it seems like that's the matchup that you want to build the deck for to begin with. So for him to be paired against it in the first round was just very fortunate for Brandon. And now we're going to have to see also if Brandon can continue that good fortune, that good luck run against Dylan Bryan, who, I mean, honestly is one of the most dominant players in the game. And, I mean, I guess that's kind of what it comes down to, is all 8 of these players are so dominant. And they're all, any one of them can win this tournament on any given day. So to see Dylan Bryan continue on into the semifinals against Brandon Cantu, and obviously the Sabelhaus brothers, I'm excited. I can't wait to get into the game, and I really do want to just get into the game right now. Come on, Jeremy, let's do it.
All right.
So now we're going to be starting the game up from Kyle's perspective. So because we don't have access to both of their cameras, it was the first time shooting the Elite Championship Series, and let's just go ahead and see if I guess we'll be surprised by Ryan's plays, but at least we'll see if Kyle made the right play in a given turn.
For sure.
Seems like it's going to be a Zubat start for Kyle, and he does have the option to play a Seismitoad, obviously.
So
probably not playing it, obviously, on his first turn.
His hand does have Ultra Ball, and he does play Shamans. So this hand is by no means dead. The thing you have to think about with Kyogre, though, is it's pretty slow on attacking. Like, turn 3 is usually when you see Kyogre start attacking, thanks to the growth ability of Primal Kyogre.
Correct. So yeah, because Primal Kyogre takes 4 energy to attack, you do feel pretty safe with your Zubat here. And now, like you said, Kyle's hand is just full of options. He's got triple Ultra Ball, which can deal a ton of shenanigans with all these Shamans and Jirachis that he might be playing. I believe we also saw a Crobat beat drawn here for Kyle. I'm excited to see if he just fetches the Shaman right away, or if he just goes.
Well, he's definitely getting Shaman, but Seismitoad is basically worthless in this matchup because of Rough Seas. Mm-hmm. So the Manectric can actually use Rough Seas itself, and you can hit for 120 if they attach a Spirit Link, which Ryan did turn 1. So he's going to be able to attach Verbank down and draw a brand new 6. He actually didn't play Verbank. I guess he wants to save it for the Rough Seas to knock him out.
Yeah, it seems really important here, and I actually really like that play. I love the chess match that people play when they go with the Stadium Wars, especially when it's a stadium as important as Rough Seas. Yeah. So I do like that Kyle saved his stadium, and hopefully it pays dividends for him here.
I'm pretty sure it did, just because Ryan did play a Rough Seas down, so he's going to be able to get that Rough Seas out of there with the Verbank on his turn.
Yeah, Ryan, on the other hand, was forced to play the Rough Seas, and because he was going to Juniper anyway, so he had no choice but to really lay it down early, even though obviously he preferred not to, since it's not going to do anything for him here.
Yeah. We also saw that after the Shaman, Kyle didn't play anything. He did have a Juniper, but he drew 2 DCEs that he didn't want to discard. And he has the AZ. He could have picked up the Shaman, but he would only draw like 1 card with that, so you don't really want to do that.
Exactly.
Another thing to watch out for is that if you bench too many EXs, the Primal Kyogre does 30 extra to each of your bench EXs.
Exactly. So that's a good point. And that's why Kyle's playing it so well. He chose to discard his Seismitoad. He didn't want to lay it down. He didn't want to play an extra bench Pokemon. So Kyle's playing it well. Kyle's playing it about as well as you can. So now it's just up to Kyogre's naturally good matchup against this deck to really pull him through here. Now, on the other hand, we now see Kyle play his turn again. He has a lot of options, but none of them seem all that exciting here.
Yeah, he could Colress for 5.
Exactly. Colress for 5, Juniper away, a couple of supporters, and a double colorless. Yeah. That might be the best option, honestly, because the double colorless doesn't seem to be that truly relevant. But he decides to go with the Colress. He does hit a head ringer, which is great against Keldeo here. It doesn't let him play the Float Stone.
Yeah, that's
that he'd like
really
to have.
important. On the other hand, though, Ryan did have probably the best turn 1 he can ask, or turn 2 he could ask for. He was able to get an energy on the Primal Kyogre, Mega Evolve, and then rush in with Keldeo to save it for a little bit.
Correct. However, because he didn't have that Float Stone, it does seem to be the early game does seem to be favoring Kyle, even though Ryan's turn, like you said earlier, was just so strong.
Yeah, we do see that Keldeo with 150 damage on it, thanks to Laser, Burbank, and the Headringer making the Salt Laser deal 120.
Yeah. Juniper was played again by Ryan here. That's 2 turns in a row that he's had a Juniper. Obviously, you're not a fan of wasting resources here. You don't want to get rid of too many potentially important cards for the late game. We'll have to see if that ends up hurting him a little bit. He did have to lay down a Float Stone on, honestly, a pretty irrelevant Float Stone on that Suicune.
Yeah. The only thing that can really take care of Suicune is Crobats. And that's really hard when Rough Seas counts into the equation, because every time you put damage on it, like save it for later, it'll just heal off eventually.
Exactly. It just seems like this deck is tailor-made to beat Seismitoad.
Yes.
And it's just going to be up to Manectric, and even Manectric will have trouble against Suicune, like you said earlier.
And we see Hard Charm, which is a very nice card I like in this format right now. A lot of people aren't really expecting it, and it throws off a lot of the math for a lot of decks.
Tidal Storm, for the first time this game, comes down, hits Manectric EX for 150 damage, and lays the smackdown on each Shaman EX for 30 damage apiece.
Yeah, those Shamans are going to be a really big liability. Thankfully, their attack does do 30 and return to your hand, but 30 damage is not what you want to do against a Primal Kyogre with Rough Seas.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, one thing we haven't seen yet is the second Rough Seas. I don't know if he had a discarded with Juniper. I hope he didn't. I don't think he did, because he would have just countered it, I guess. But still, the fact that he's already gotten rid of one Rough Seas might play in Kyle's favor here. And it seems like we're going for the long game no matter what.
Yeah, he did get the second Keldeo, though, and that's how he was able to retreat. Keldeo Float Zone. Mm-hmm. Running 2 Keldeo gives you a lot of versatility when it comes to stuff like that. Like if your one Keldeo gets put to sleep active, per se.
Correct. Not to mention that it actually deals a ton of damage when you start talking about Primal Kyogre just, powering it up on its own with its own attack.
But this Manectric has 150 on it. He's not going to retreat it or anything, because it's just going to get knocked out on the bench. So he's going to have to just do 120 to active. And he's not going to be left with much.
That's right. So, the Manectric EX, putting up about as much of a fight as it can. However, Ryan just seems to be on the driver's seat right away. A Versus Seeker from Ryan, finding a Juniper. Is he going to play the Juniper right away and discard 4 additional cards? He is. Draws 7, but discards 4. Yeah, it's 3 turns in a row that he's played Juniper. He's had a Versus Seeker for a Juniper here. That actually is relevant. I can't stress how relevant that actually is.
This Max Potion, it was huge, though. Got rid of all the 150 or whatever on the Keldeo.
That's right. Now, the Primal Kyogre, though, is... it's not like it's in a great spot here. If that Kyogre goes down, then we might see some sort of a comeback here from Kyle.
Has 120 HP left. I think it's fine.
That's true. Another Tidal Storm, another 60 damage, or another 30 damage on each Shaman. The Manectric goes down. We see the first 2 prizes taken of the game. We are down to 4 versus 6 prizes with a Kyogre in play that is likely not going down anytime soon. Or at least not this turn.
So I think we're going to see a Swoop Across. Deals 10 damage everywhere, maybe, or a Sky Return. I would like Sky Return. Those Shamans have 60 on them, and they're going to get knocked out in 2 more hits.
Well, yeah, exactly. 2 more Tidal Storms and the game's over, right? So you do need to actually plan ahead here and make sure that you that you Sky Return at least one of these Shamans away before a couple of turns are done. Otherwise, this is going to go from being a long game to just being kind of a runaway game for Ryan here.
Yeah. One of the things that you see from the Primal Kyogre deck is that if there's multiple EXs in play, they'll attack the first one, deal 30 to the other ones, and then sometimes if they get the right draw, they can just Lysander the benched EX.
And
They
bam!
get 4 prizes.
4
in one
prizes,
turn, yeah.
exactly. Pokemon Center Lady. Pokemon Center Lady from Ryan just keeps this unstoppable Kyogre from going down. That's Not something you see every day, but when you do see it, it seems to be like the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. And here we see Ryan actually retreating to the regular Kyogre EX because its attack does 140 for 4 energy and then return 2 energy to your hand. It's a simple way to like knock out non-EX Pokemon.
That is true. Oh man, Ryan is in a dominant position here. Kyle, on the other hand, is being dominated, and I'm struggling to see an option here for Kyle. A lot of it has to do with Hypnotoxic Laser, but then Keldio's in the bench and it's ready to just mitigate any type of damage Laser can do here.
Yeah, the fact that Kyle only plays 2 Manectric and 3 Lightning Energy really hinders his ability to kind of compete in this matchup, especially since he had to discard a Lightning Energy turn 1. Usually, if you think about the straight Manectric list, like the Manectric and Empoleon, they kind of have a good matchup against this deck because they're able to Muscle Band, Assault Laser a lot of the Kyogres, and you're able to trade resources with Max Potions and Rough Seas and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just seeing a lack of attacks here from Kyle. I mean, obviously Kyle can still try to Quaking Punch his way to victory, but that's not going to do anything once he starts seeing the Rough Seas come into play.
Yeah, we've only seen one.
Lucky for him, he does have a hand of triple Juniper with a Verbank, so he does have a way to counter the next Rough Seas, but that's pretty much it. That's all he's got in his hand. If his opponent puts enough pressure on him, he might have to Juniper the stadium away.
Yeah, for sure. I think with this attack, he's going to have to Juniper the stadium away. He's going to need to try to set up something else.
He's looking through his opponent's discard pile, trying to see if there's anything he can really do here. Or his own, who knows? My eyes are bad.
There's 2 Rough Seas in there. Okay, I think he discarded one with Juniper.
Okay, so you discard one with Juniper, you get one countered. That still leaves you with 2 left. And I'm not sure if Kyle even plays 4 stadiums. Hopefully he does.
I'm pretty sure it's 3.
Yeah, if it is 3... We can always
check the list.
Yeah, we'll check the list after the game. Yeah, and there's another Tidal Storm. What a runaway game here. It felt like it could have been a really epic match. And granted, this is a 5-week tournament series, so it's not like this is guaranteed to be the last time we see these brothers play. But it just feels like this is a horrible, horrible match for Kyle. And Ryan, who has been having an incredibly successful season and has kind of left his brother in the dust, this season anyway, is going to walk away with at least game 1 here.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Kyle has had a really good season. Like myself, we both have our world invite. Unlike someone.
Well, some of us have to commentate worlds, right? It's just the way that happens.
But yeah, Ryan definitely, he has his day 2 invite for Worlds, and he's finished so well at multiple tournaments, and he's just really been one of the best players in North America this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to take anything away from Kyle, who's also a phenomenal player and has shown it in previous years. And he's got tournament. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got accolades in spades, But it seems like Ryan is just dominating him this game, and that's really what it comes down to, is this specific game. Kyle did take a couple of prizes, so it's not like he's necessarily out of the game. It's just, it seems so awful because he's almost out of energies. He's got a Seismitoad active. His opponent's dealing 150 damage a turn.
I mean, he did finally knock out that Primal Kyogre.
That's true. He did knock out 1 Primal Kyogre here. A couple more to go. But that's the difference, too, by the way.
We see the second one, too.
Yeah, that's the difference, too, by the way, is that he has to struggle so hard to knock out a Primal Kyogre, and he doesn't even deal damage to the bench.
Yeah.
Like Crobats, once again, their damage gets mitigated by Rough Seas and whatnot, if we ever do see it come into play. But Tidal Storm is just such a powerful effect against Kyle's deck here. These Shamans.
So is Suicune. Like, Ryan can just have this Suicune up there for a little bit, and he'll be fine. Like, he gets plenty of turns to set up.
We do have a Lysander in Kyle's hand, though, and that's something to note.
Lysander really doesn't do anything, just because the 2 Keldeos, like, I know the 1 Keldeo has a Headringer, but the other one does have Floatstone and 2 energy attached to it. And anything he tries to bring up, like Stall for a few turns, can't really do that. If he tries to bring up like the Primal Kyogre and like Quaking Punch, you're doing 50. I mean, it's not really amazing for you.
See the Xerastic into the end here. This could happen. You
No.
could theoretically.
All right, so we saw game. Tidal Storm will knock out the Seismitoad. Ryan will take his last prize.
Yeah, very uneventful way to end that first game here. But once again, Tidal Storm just so powerful if you can get it out on turn 3.
Yeah. And Ryan does take game 1.
Yeah, Ryan does take.
So we see the list again. There's not that many energies, so he's going to have to try to conserve that. The Rock Guard might be a big thing.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
you can get it and like start healing some stuff and like, or if you could like Rock Guard is then active, scoop up Rock Guard, scoop up Rock Guard.
I'm with you.
Maybe something like that.
We came up with a plan.
Yeah.
There is a game plan. If you scoop up, don't let your Pokemon take any type of Tidal Storm damage, and then as lay it down, drop a double colorless and a Rock Guard. Yeah, sure, that can definitely work for a turn.
Ryan could also draw dead, and with Quaking Punch, anytime you're playing Seismitoad, you can always steal a game somehow.
A head ringer right away, and a high Hypnotoxic Laser landing heads. About as powerful a turn as you can have here.
You also got a Rock Guard on the Zubat.
That's right. Zubat with a Rock Guard, trying to put as much pressure as it can on this poor sleeping Kyogre.
And you do see the Toad energy, and he has supporter for next turn, but he really didn't, you want the Manectric, first and
course,
foremost.
yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, there's no comparison. You don't want to, like we said earlier, you don't want to start, Quaking Punching your opponent up and down. That's not going to do anything. And now, on the other hand, we see Ryan start with a pretty aggressive start. He gets a Keldeo right away in order to mitigate the Hypnotoxic Laser's poison damage. And I'm not sure if we saw
There was a Float Stone.
Okay, we did see a Float Stone, so that's even worse for Kyle here.
He also Computer Search, most likely got the other Kyogre, attach energy to it, and a Spirit Link, rushed in and Junipered. So it's the same start basically as first game.
Yeah, I mean, when you get this, if you can be guaranteed to get this start every game, then obviously Kyogre becomes a powerhouse of a deck. It's when you don't get these starts that Kyogre tends to kind of stutter a little bit. But I guess it's irrelevant when you do get it. So now, Shaman does draw Ryan a couple extra cards in his hand. I'm not sure what he's really trying to hit at this point. It doesn't seem like he needs anything, or at least not too much.
He actually benched the Absol to draw an extra card with the Shaman.
Wonder what he's fetching here. I guess we'll find out.
Maybe he's just putting up the Absol as bait.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely potential for that because it's a one-prize Pokemon. It doesn't really mess up the math that much. You still force your opponent to knock out the EXs for the most part.
Yeah.
It does make Suicune a tiny bit more of a liability, though, but, so be it. You'll take that risk.
It's so hard for Kyle to knock out Suicune, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
So now Kyle, on the other hand, has a Versus Seeker for an end, decides to end his opponent into a 6-card hand and himself into a 6-card hand. And, geez, this hand is not helping him out much at all. We do not see any Manectric EXs yet.
Or an energy. He's going to have to Ultra Ball for a Shaman here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's always bad when you want to bench Shaman against Primal Kyogre. One thing you do see is that with the Golbats, he's targeting Ryan's Shaman, since that's the one Pokemon he can't heal with Rough Seas.
That's true. That's a good point. Well, that and Absol, I guess.
Yeah.
However,
And he's
once
still
again,
does not get energy.
yeah, once again, you just don't have any energy. You don't have any real attack. Even if you do attack, it's going to be with Seismitoad.
I think we're going to see another Shaman here. Yeah.
That's the correct play. You just don't have any options yet. You need to draw yourself into something. We do see a double colorless, so at least you can start Quaking Punching. That's about as good as you can ask for here. A Quaking Punch does stop his opponent from playing any more items on his own turn.
We do see, though, Ryan did get the important items out of the way. He got the Spirit Link on this Kyogre, and got a Float Stone on the Keldeo and the Absol.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going anywhere else with that, but that's true. Shaman now is going to start Sky returning, or will it? Yes, it will.
So those two Golbats were essentially wasted.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's really what it comes down to. Is Kyle has no real options beyond this, and it's so easy to mitigate any type of damage Kyle can deal here.
I think the one thing that Kyle can count last turn as a win is that he attached the Shaman instead of a Kyogre, and didn't get the primal.
Yeah, life's little victories, right? All right, I guess we get to take a break here while we figure out. While Kyle, let's try that again. While Kyle figures out what he can actually do here, a super scoop up doesn't really help him any, even if it had landed.
Yeah, he was either gonna go for the Golbat with the Rock Guard to try to get the Rock Guard on that Seismitoad, or just pick up the Seismitoad so he can get those energy back because there's a Lightning on there that he wants on a Manectric instead.
Exactly. I mean, if he draws a Manectric to begin with.
True.
Another Golbat. The Golbat army is alive and well for now. All right, so a very measly Quaking Punch here from Kyle. Does not have a supporter in his hand. Does not have any additional energies in play.
There's 90 damage on the Absol.
There's 90 damage on...
So he can knock it out next turn by evolving the Golbat, which is a good point. But like you said before, it's the 7th prize, basically.
Exactly. It's the 7th prize here. His opponent's got nothing but EXs on the bench. A Keldeo can activate itself whenever it likes to just, mitigate any type of damage that has been done to the Absol, I mean, you force your opponent to play the Golbat that way, but no, he decides to just leave the Absol active for now. What did he draw as a prize? An N?
I believe so.
So yeah, an N here can end himself to 5 and his opponent to 6. That's always a good option,
He took
right?
the Juniper instead.
Yeah, good choice there.
Ryan
no
still
attacking
hasn't...
Pokemon on his bench, by the way. None. I mean, he's stuck with Shaymins and Golbats.
There is that energy on the Golbat with the Rock Guard.
You're right. You're right. The Golbat is forced to start attacking, apparently, since it's got a Rock Guard and he wants to take advantage of it.
Oh, he scooped it up finally. We got Rock Guard in our hand, boys.
All right. Still no Manectric, but we do have an Ultra Ball, so we might start finally seeing a Manectric get powered up here.
Still, Ryan hasn't gotten the Primal Kyogre. I think this Trainer Lock is actually pretty hurting him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely putting some pressure on Ryan, but at the same time, it's not putting all that much pressure. Ryan doesn't mind giving up a prize, like we said earlier. Ryan doesn't mind taking 30 damage here and then activating a Keldeo if he needs to.
Yeah.
For all we know, there we go. There's the rough seas that I was about to say, but that I was about to mention. For all we know, he's just got a handful of rough seas just going, all right, well, I guess once you start damaging my water Pokemon, I'll start playing these things. And we do have one Verbank City Gym in Kyle's hand, but that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
Kyle's got to be running low on options. Hate to sound like a broken record here, but there's not much you can say about this matchup. This matchup is just painful to watch.
Stop being a baby. It's not that bad. It's very slow and methodical. Like, Kyogre's a very tanky deck.
It is. It's definitely a tanky deck. It's a tanky deck that deals 150 damage for one attack. And sets your opponent's bench Pokemon up for one-hit knockouts. But yeah, it's a very tanky deck.
I don't know. I'm hoping to see this Rock Guard do work. That's my plan.
Another rough seas here. And the hand that we assumed Ryan had is exactly what he did have, which was just a handful of rough seas waiting for his water Pokemon to actually become active.
Oh, we see the Primal now, too. That's
Primal Kyogre comes into play.
Energies.
Yeah, he had that Spirit Link the whole time. Didn't necessarily need to drop this Primal Kyogre on any given time. And now that he does, he sets up his opponent for brutality. That's 150 plus 90 damage. That's 240 damage that he dealt in one attack.
Yeah. Kyle does remember the rough seas, though, which heals his Manectric and his Exotoad.
Got him.
But we did see the Rock Guard deal 60 to Primal Kyogre, so it's something.
That's a good point. The Rock Guard is paying dividends. We don't have a Super Scoop up here from Kyle, which could have actually done quite a bit of work. But without the Super Scoop up, I mean, the Rock Guard's only going to have 1 to 2 uses. Well, a couple of uses, I guess.
So one thing he could do is he can keep attacking with this Seismitoad just to lock the trainers of Ryan's hand. Mm-hmm. And then next turn, attack with the Manectric to try to knock it out. I'm pretty sure that's how it works with the math, too. Because it'll have 60 and then the 30 for 90. And then it'll attack again, or heal, so it'll have 60 again. Then it'll attack Sides and Toad for knockout, and it will have 60 again. But we see Ryan retreating and just evolving his other Kyogre so he can rough seas while sitting on the bench.
Exactly. And all that math you just did gets mitigated by the fact that your opponent just can't even attack your actual Kyogre here. So again, it begs the question: what can Kyle do?
He did get a scoop up. That's helpful.
He did get a scoop up. He has not flipped for it, but he did get a scoop up. You're right.
I don't. Did he rough seas? I think so. Yeah.
He did. He rough seas at the beginning of the turn. Now, that wasn't a very eventful turn for Kyle. I'm surprised he actually didn't try to scoop up here. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. I think he probably should have because now the Kyogre is going to knock him out, and he's not going to be able to knock him out with Manectric.
Yeah, you might want to try to save that Rock Guard for an additional turn. If you get another 60 damage out of that Rock Guard, then you really start putting that Ace-Spec to use. So that's interesting that he chose to do this. I mean, granted, it's not like he was going to be in a great position even if he got heads, but at the same time, that might have been a better play. I'm not sure.
So the Kyogre has 90 on it right now since the 30 it had before and then the Rock Guard.
Correct.
Manectric's doing 140. So the laser will knock him out.
Okay, that's true. I'm glad you're the one doing the math and not myself. that would have been painful to watch. He does have all the tools he needs. I guess the Kyogre is going down.
But he did lose 3 energy and the Rock Guard from that not playing that scoop up.
Yeah. Yeah, he most certainly did. The irrelevant flip on the laser, I guess I said it. It's irrelevant. We do see a Golbat activation dealing a couple of extra damage to the bench Kyogre.
So it has 110 on it now? 140? I guess the 20 damage didn't really matter from the Golbat.
No, it didn't.
It was going to be healed off with Rough Seas anyway.
Exactly.
I still would have liked to put it on like the other Kyogre or Keldeo, just because Bryan might forget to Rough Seas.
Yeah. Now, down to 3 prizes, which is an achievement compared to last game. He's
one more than last game.
Yeah, new high score. So now he's down to 3 prizes. His opponent still has 4 to go. Actually, this isn't such a lopsided game as game 1 turned out to be.
Yeah,
he's definitely in this game still.
We see the Headringer on the other primal, so it's not going to be able to attack this turn at all. Just because with the growth ability, you can attach 2 energy. But it's going to take 5 energy to actually attack with that primal Kyogre.
Yeah, that turn 1 Headringer that we saw at the beginning of the game is finally starting to pay dividends.
But we see a Suicune, and Kyle's going to have a lot of work to do.
Well, if he has 3 Crobats...
3 Crobats and then attack with a Crobat.
We got this. We got this.
Or he can do 2 Crobats and an attack with a Crobat with Muscle Band. I mean, he has the Muscle Band in hand.
That's right. 2 Crobats and a Muscle Banded attack. However, I mean, obviously he has the Muscle Band, but he doesn't actually have the Crobats yet.
Ugh. And we just saw Ryan fill up on energy with energy retrieval. So he's basically playing all his trainers. It's his first turn of trainers, right? I believe so.
Finally, the trainer luck was was done, and Ryan took full advantage of that. And at the same time, left that Suicune up there, just kind of challenging Kyle to get over there. Lysander does provide Kyle with a few more options, but I'm not sure if any of them are winning propositions here.
Yeah, with that Keldeo out, he's not going to be able to do much. And I think
he chooses to attack.
He did?
Always, I believe so.
Oh, wow.
Always fighting there. And now Primal Kyogre is finally going to have enough energy to be able to attack here.
6 energies.
6 energy it is.
Or maybe it was 5.
Well,
Whatever.
It's supposed to be 5, but if you call 6, it's 6.
I thought it was 6, but it was 5. A lot of energies. Basically, we'll leave it at that.
All right, so now Manectric EX, it's beaten, but it's not done yet. It can still attack one more time before it gets knocked out. Oh yeah, that rough seas does actually end up mattering a little bit here because now your opponent can't really Lysander and dominate you.
Yeah. And that's where it's not a complete auto loss.
It's not the 100-0 that it could have been.
Not the 100-0 Flagon matchup that Ryan was hoping for round 2 again.
That's actually a good point. That Ryan's had kind of an easy road to the finals here, assuming he does make it to the finals. He plays in probably the most lopsided matchup in this format.
Yeah.
in the Flygon versus Kyogre.
I think it's basically playing against like a starter deck.
Yeah, exactly.
With like a real deck.
The old days of Haymaker against Venusaur or something like that, and now we see him play against another extremely good matchup. This just seems like it's great deck selection by Ryan, more than anything.
Yeah, I remember talking to him before the tournament actually started, and he had no idea what to play. Was gonna play Wailord. Kyle talked him out of it. Thank God.
Thank you.
And he just threw together a different kind of whale.
He's like, well, I'm playing my whale.
Yeah, basically.
Well, this ended up being a great choice for him, and now we see Kyle try to put up one last fight. Another minute. Well,
he did 140
yeah.
with the Manectric that he got, and he still has the Manectric on the bench that's damaged because he basically sacrificed the Golbat to Keldeo.
Exactly. Has his opponent at 3 prizes like himself, so now his opponent's also going to have to take an extra prize somewhere along the lines, or Lysander up one of the Golbats at some point.
Yeah, and
I wonder how Ryan's going to Tidal Storm this turn. That's really what it comes down to.
Essentially, I think the Primal's healed enough. Maybe he doesn't have the 5 energy. That's Kyle's hope.
And he'll have to, make do with an extremely strong
Secret
Sword.
Yeah, he just Secret Sword, so I don't think he has the 5th energy, is what it is.
Oh, poor him.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Does not have the 5th energy and has to deal hundreds of damage with Secret Sword.
Kyle is going to take 2 more prizes.
How much damage does the Keldeo have right now?
It has 110, because it was 140 last turn, and then the Rough Seas healed 30.
Okay, so the Keldeo will go down. Kyle goes down to a single prize left. Does he have the triple Crobat plus attack on the Suicune?
Yeah, that's he needs a double Crobat energy laser.
There's no way for...
I don't think he has Crobats left, because he hasn't been really doing much.
One prize apiece. This can happen. Golbat versus the most lopsided active Pokemon battle of all time. Golbat against Primal
he
Kyogre.
can stay asleep. Oh my God!
The Hypnotoxic Laser lands ahead. The Suicune goes to sleep. He needs another Keldeo, but you were gone. And he wakes up.
And a Floatstone. And that is game over.
All right, that could have been epic. However, a nice timely heads from Ryan does save him this game 2 and the match, as Ryan now advances 2-0 over his brother, Kyle Sabelhaus.
Yeah, and we did get a result that Dylan Bryan did beat Brandon Cantu. So
Dylan Bryan against Ryan Sabelhaus in the finals of the very first tournament in the Elite Championship Series.
Kyogre versus Groudon. Oh, man. They make this up in the game, right?
We couldn't have written a better story. Ryan Sabelhaus takes down his older brother in order to get to the finals, and now he faces Dylan Bryan in a matchup between 2 Day 2 Worlds competitors. Kyogre against Groudon.
You can't write this.
Wow, you can't write a better script. You're right. I'm excited to see that match, and I'm sure you guys are too, so we'll bring it to you guys as soon as you guys possibly can click the next match.